everyone, and welcome to Tiger on the Block, the only podcast that takes collegiate a cappella members and makes them really uncomfortable for 30 minutes. I'm Tony like the tiger, Voss like the water.
And I'm Jessica Block, and Billie Jean is not my lover. Hey Tony, it's been a long time since I asked you what you've been doing this fine corn tune.
Oh, me? I decided to become an entrepreneur.
An entrepreneur? You don't say.
That's right. Got my own business on Etsy.
A whole entire business? Not like half a business or a quarter business?
Nope. Whole business.
Well, I'll be. What business?
Well, I's been making trinkets.
Trinkets? Well, slap my friends and call me Johnson. What kind of trinkets?
Well, Johnson,
Ow.
I make insects out of epoxy. Put them on earrings, necklaces. Hell, I even put one on a ring.
Ooh, neat. What's your favorite resin insect to make?
Well, my favorite is the bee, but if you ask my customers, Johnson,
Ow.
they'd tell you my best work is in them resin ants.
Art. That was art.
The ants? Oh yeah, they're great.
No, the pun.
Pun? No, I seriously make resin ants.
All right, Tony, who do we have in the studio today?
We have Resonance. Oh. We have Resonance from UCLA. Founded in 2012, Resonance began as a quintet that grew in both size and sound to become one of the premier co-ed a cappella groups at UCLA. Their first single, In the Name of Love, is even featured on Voice's Only 2017, a highly selective a cappella album that showcases the finest tracks from collegiate and high school groups worldwide.
They've performed in Spring Sing multiple times, as well as Laugh and the ICCAs, and have placed and made it to ICCA semifinals multiple times as well. They also perform in concerts and philanthropic events across California.
We got two members of Resonance with us in the studio today. Why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves, who you are and where you're from.
So my name's Brandon. I have been the music director for Resonance for 3 years. Has it been 3 years? 4 years?
Maybe more.
Maybe 4 years. No.
I don't know.
Because I wasn't my sophomore year. So 3 years. And I've been in the group for 5 years, which is a little bit long. I'm a computer science major at UCLA. And yeah.
Hello, I'm Maggie. I am a senior now, and I've been in Resonance for 3 and going on to 4 years. I've been the assistant music director for about a little over 2 years now, and still going into the next school year as the assistant music director. And I am doing a double major in sociology and music performance.
Ooh. That's awesome. So our first question for you guys kind of encompasses a lot of different things, but it's up to you guys to just let us know how this happened for you. But everyone has different stories. What's your guys' particular story of how you got into music and a cappella? So just like your whole experience from the beginning of, from the dawn of time, no, from the beginning of when you started doing music to collegiate a cappella.
Well, so I guess for me, I've kind of been singing my whole life, but I didn't really know that a cappella was a thing until high school. I remember when I was super young, I would sing with my mom a lot, and then at elementary school, I would always be the one kid during all the group song things that would just sing the loudest, and everyone else would stop singing, and then I'd just still be singing. But then I joined the high school choir, and at my high school there was chorale, and then there was the a cappella group, which was actually a class at school, but it was kind of treated as honors choir almost, but you had to audition to get in, and anyone could join choir. So I joined choir in ninth grade, first year of high school, and then we all just like looked up to the acapella group, and everyone like wanted to be in it. And so I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like I'm gonna try really hard. I'm gonna like get really good, and then audition and like try to get in for in 10th grade. And then I auditioned, I got in, and then like after that, just like my whole journey, just like acapella just opened like this entire world for me. I was introduced to pentatonics because like we learned the arrangement of royals, and like I just watched video after video after video, and like I became obsessed with pentatonics. And eventually it was actually kind of sad because not many guys or like in my school actually joined in both choir and in acapella. So after my first year, during my first year in the acapella group in 10th grade, there was I think one other guy in the acapella group, but then after he was a senior, so then he graduated, and then I was the only guy, and then there was like one guy in chorale, and I would like take my free period to go and like try to help mentor him during the choir period. Anyway, like I got just like really, really into it. I became really good friends with my music teacher, and then going into college, I knew that like acapella was something that I just had to do. Like I was just obsessed with it at that point. And then like little did I know, like after joining Resonance and like coming to college, I could get like even more invested into it year after year. So like I kind of came in as a computer science major, like super ready to like do CS and like get really good grades and like focus really hard on school. And then like as the years went by, it kind of just like my life got more and more acapella and less CS, and it kind of just snowballed from there. So yeah,
can confirm. Saw it firsthand.
That's awesome. Are you gonna do acapella stuff after college too?
I honestly don't know. Like it's so hard, especially now with like the state of the world. Like I feel like things are even more uncertain, but like not that like that's the reason that I'm uncertain, because I was uncertain before that, but it doesn't help. Let's put it that way.
For sure. Well, I'm sure you'll find somewhere to do acapella stuff, because no matter where you go, there are singers.
Yes, I will. It will definitely be a part of my life. I just don't know if it will be what I'll be doing professionally.
Awesome.
Definitely. I love how pentatonics is just, it's the gateway drug.
Oh,
It
There's
really
no
is.
going back. There's no going back. Maggie, would you like to touch on your experience?
Yeah. So I guess from the beginning, my major in music performance at UCLA right now actually is a concentration in piano. So it's like basically piano performance. So I've been playing piano since like I was like 5 years old or something, and it's been going on till like now. So like 16, 17 years. So that's been like a thing like on this end. And then starting from like middle school, I was super involved in choir. Like I loved choir. That was my favorite class for sure. And our choir director in middle school was just like, we like idolized him at that point. Like now that I look back, it's kind of weird, but like as like 12-year-olds, like he was like so cool. So like we definitely took choir super seriously, and it was like a really like cool activity that we would like all like partake in. So yeah, I've been singing for like a while also, and then going into high school I was still continuing choir, and I think it was probably around that time just through seeing like media and just like pop culture, whatever. There was pentatonics, of course, gateway drug literally, pentatonics, and probably Pitch Perfect. Pitch Perfect. That's
Yeah.
that movie. Oh my god, the first movie. I actually the first movie, it was like life-changing, quote-unquote life-changing, and I haven't even watched the second or third movies because I heard they were like not that good. So
Yeah, you don't need to.
okay, cool, great. That's affirmation. Yeah, so but watching that first movie, I was like, wow, that is so cool. Like they have like they just sing and like dance and like have these like sets, and like, oh my god, I want to do that. And then I mean, of course it's a movie, they kind of like portrayed an image that's not really real, so I was like, that's probably not like realistic, like that's probably not what it's actually like. But still, it was like something that I really wanted to do. So of course going into college, I think that it wasn't even like a hesitant like or like an option. It was more like, oh my god, I have to try this out, like I have to see what it's like. And I also had a friend from high school that I've that I have been friends with since freshman year of high school. And he was 2 years older than me, and he also went to UCLA and was in Resonance. So he pretty much introduced me to auditioning to Resonance. And I actually didn't audition for that many groups. I think I did 3 in total as a freshman. One was for Resonance. One was for Scattertones, the other co-ed big group at UCLA. And then the other one, oh no, I don't remember. It was a walk-in. Like they like recruited me. They were like, "Oh, hey, you're in the music building. Do you want to do a cappella?" So I did 3 auditions total, and I didn't really I was only set on Resonance, honestly, because my friend was already in it. And I was like, that seems like a really cool group. My friend's in it, and I'm just going to go for that one. So yeah, it took me along this journey to where I am now. Here, yeah.
There you go.
Vibes.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, exactly.
The rest is history. My audition for Pitch Please was actually a walk-in too. I just saw it was Jess and Brayden. Was it Brayden who was outside? Y'all were just crackheads outside. I said, you know what? Hold on, I'm gonna go hang out with them real quick.
I was practicing All I Want for Christmas Is You with some dance moves because I was going to go audition for B-Harm.
Oh my
Which
God.
were right down the hall. And B-Harm was watching me oh man, I hope she doesn't come in. And I was like, I'm almost ready.
What the heck?
And then Tony was over there waiting for his B-Harm audition, and he was like, they look fun.
For me at auditions, I came into it knowing, I did no research on any of the groups. I knew nothing about any of them, but I just knew that I wanted to do a cappella, so I just grabbed every single a cappella flyer that I could get at, the activities fair and stuff. I think I auditioned for, 13 groups, or literally every group I could find. I just went to... And then I had... Callbacks were a nightmare, because I had, I think... 9 callbacks over 3 nights, so there were 3 overlapping callbacks a night, and I had to just 1 hour here, sprint across campus, 1 hour here, sprint across campus. It was ridiculous. My voice was at the most dead it's ever been after that week. It was crazy.
Those callbacks are brutal. They're so long, and if you have a bunch in a row and everyone's sing louder, and it's
Yeah, warm tea with honey, it'll save you.
Oh man.
But yeah, somebody
Honey
else
with
on the
honey.
podcast, honey with honey. And maybe a little bit of honey on the side.
Yeah.
Somebody else previously that we talked to commented that being in collegiate a cappella is in some ways very much like the Pitch Perfect movies, but it's in a lot it's being in Pitch Perfect and absolutely not being in Pitch Perfect.
Oh, definitely. There are moments where I was like, wow, I feel like I'm in a movie. But then there's also moments they obviously just the long rehearsals and stuff. They never show that part. They don't show that.
Or going to class or having a midterm the same day as a rehearsal.
God,
It's right before a performance.
Do they even have school in Pitch Perfect?
Honestly, no. They didn't go to
I think
class.
they mentioned it once. She's like, I have a philosophical question. Is if I don't show up, will the class still suck? And that's the only time she mentions her classes at all.
Oh my God.
All right.
Not that I know that movie well or anything.
I mean, that's maybe accurate to my experience.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Brandon, something.
I think
Different
it's
story here.
philosophy class. She's like, I have a philosophical question. And then she says that to her dad. And I'm like, whoa. Whoa, Becca.
Oh yeah, because her dad was a professor at the college.
Yeah. That's disrespectful, Becca. It's okay.
She's sticking it to the man.
That's true. Sometimes you got to do that. That's what I learned from school. What is it called? School of Rock? School of Rock? Yeah. That's
School
the
of
one.
Rock?
School of Rock, yeah.
I almost said Schoolhouse Rock. That's a different thing. Anyway, let's get on to more things about you guys. So, Tony, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, of course. So, Resonance is a fairly new group, you could say. So, I would like if you guys could talk a little bit about how the group has grown since their initial creation, where they are now, and in the famous words of Disney's Hercules, how did you guys go from zero to hero just like that?
Yeah, well, so I think for me, the choice to join the group was very intentional when I saw this group as this super fast, upcoming, new group. I really wanted to join a group where I felt like I could make a difference. And I saw Resonance as this group that was only 3 years old or something when I joined it, who had already been in Spring Sing and in Laugh. And so I knew that this was a group of people that really wanted to compete and really wanted to push themselves to be the best that they could be. But then me coming to the group, it was really interesting because once I joined, then I saw that there was kind of half the group that was really into like the competitive side and like being as good as possible, and then there was like another half of the group that, I mean, the group was relatively new and they kind of just joined a group that they wanted to sing for fun, and like it wasn't really like established at the foundation of the group that like we would be a competition group, or we would be like a casual group or whatever. So like there was no right or wrong, I guess, between that. And so it was honestly like kind of a bit of a difficult push to get us towards like all in competition mode, right? But it almost got easier year after year as like people graduated, and like more and more people that we took in, like it kind of like honestly snowballed. Like as we got better, we attracted people that had that same mindset of like wanting to compete and wanting to be better, and more of the people who kind of just did it casually would graduate. And so my second year was the first year that we really pushed to do ICCA for the first time, and that was honestly like a really big testament of Marco, who was our president at the time, and then like Marco, Mai, and like Esther and me would all kind of just like nerd out over acapella, and like we watched like Sing It On in Marco's apartment, and we'd go to like Quality after rehearsal and stuff, and we were kind of like the,
oh my god, Quality,
honestly like Quality was that was the shit. But anyway, like we like kind of like the four of us, I felt like were like the driving force behind like pushing Resonance towards the competitive side. And so then that was what, 2016 2017 maybe, was the first year that we competed, and we like honestly had no expectations. We were just like, all right, we saw this on Sing It On, like, hey, Nor'easters, like we want to compete ICCA, right? Like so we like threw together a competition set. We're just like, all right, let's just see what happens our first year. And we ended up advancing from the quarterfinals. I think we got second place at quarterfinals. Yeah, second place at quarterfinals. And like that, honestly, like being announced second, like we were not expecting anything, and that was one of the best experiences of my life. Like I still remember just standing on the stage, just like having zero expectations, and then having our name get called, and it was otherworldly. And then like honestly, compared to that, like then we advanced to the semifinals and we got like third place at semifinals, and the announcement of third place at semifinals was like less impactful than the announcement at quarterfinals. And like all the announcement of like first place at quarterfinals like last year, like, and 3 years ago, was like less impactful than the second place at quarterfinals that first year, because it was almost like that was like our break. That was like the thing that kind of opened up this entire world for us. And then like for me in particular, that was kind of like at the breaking point for me, where I started doing a lot more music than school. So it was in my second year. I mean, it sounds like awkward, but like it was honestly like a really hard decision for me to justify, especially like to myself and like to my parents. But then at that quarterfinal and at semifinal, I won best arrangement or outstanding arrangement at both of them. And as me, that was like, I started arranging in college in Resonance. My first year arranging was my freshman year, so that was my second year ever arranging. Like the arrangement that I won best arrangement for was Sledgehammer, which was honestly the first standalone arrangement that I had done ever, and that was just like such a validating experience for me. And so I don't want to like brag, because like I really don't like that arrangement. I don't think I deserve to win best arrangement. Like in hindsight, I feel like I was probably just like the only person in the competition that actually arranged within the group. But like I've definitely like improved since then, and it served as like a really nice starting point for me to like look back on and be like, wow, like I'm actually doing something that like matters. I'm actually doing something that like people care about, and this is like the things that I'm doing are actually then being validated, where like my time is actually being well spent, even if I'm not spending the majority of it on my schoolwork. And for me, that was very important. And yeah.
No, that makes sense. And that, I think too, like your arranging has had a big role in like Resonance moving to where they are now as well, because at the beginning, I don't know how many arrangements you guys had, but as you kind of got more prolific at arranging and got more like validation too with your arranging, like you arranged more, and then you guys had this like arsenal of songs that were really well arranged, and that really helps a group to sound better as well. Besides even getting like better and better people and people who are more invested in competition, you have these arrangements as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was really important, because before me, all of our arrangements had been purchased from like outside are outsourced. Most of them, like in the beginning, were like stock arrangements or like pentatonic arrangements or like random stuff that our members would just find on the internet. And then we started like outsourcing to like hiring people to arrange for us. And sometimes like they wouldn't quite fit our group, and so maybe someone from our group would like edit them a little bit. But I was the first person in Resonance to actually like standalone arrange music for the group, and I think that it was a really important change where now we could have arrangements that are catered specifically to us and are arranged by someone that knows the group intimately, knows our strengths, knows our weaknesses, knows how to get us to sound good, right? And I think that for me, like, I really don't think that I deserved those arrangement awards, but at the time, they were so important for motivating me to continue to do it, because it's like arranging is such a hard thing to get into, and like it just takes so much work for the amount of payoff that you get. Like honestly though, like the first time that I did arrange something and then I bring it to the group at rehearsal and then everyone is singing like notes on a page that I wrote, like it's such an amazing experience. Like I can't even explain. But it's still like the amount of effort that it takes to get there, and like hours upon hours, like late nights to get to that point. You don't see that payoff until so far down the line. And I feel like for me, I was really, really lucky with the validation that I was getting to that I wanted to continue to do it. And I think that really helped me kind of like grow to become the arranger that I am today.
I was going to say, in the words of Drake, you started from the bottom. Now you're here.
Yes.
And then end quotation mark on the podcast, Tiger on the Block.
That's something Pitch Perfect gets wrong. You don't just go to an empty swimming pool and then start singing and suddenly you have this like amazing mashup. With that being said,
I wish that was true.
I know, right? I'm assuming you guys don't go to empty swimming pools very often. So I'm going to ask you guys, I guess, what you do often on a normal year. So Maggie, if you could speak a little bit to like, what does Resonance do in a normal year? I know this year's been the wackiest wacky of whack.
Oh, yeah.
But on like a non-2020 year, and even you can talk a bit about the ICCA 2020 if you'd like, because that's kind of part of the normal part of this year. But just what happens? What does Resonance do?
Yeah. Speaking of, I don't think I've ever seen an empty swimming pool in my life. Like, how often does that happen?
Only movies when there's skaters around, or I guess acapella groups.
Acapella groups.
Maybe like on the East Coast, do they empty pools in the winter on the East Coast?
Maybe.
Maybe outdoor
that
pools.
does make some sense.
And they're in Ohio? Or where are they? I don't know. Anyway.
Jess,
Maybe
we got
they're
a question for the next time we got an East Coast group.
Yeah,
Me
when we
and
get an
Jess
East
gotta be
Coast
the
group,
first
I'll
to
ask them if they empty their
swimming
swimming pools.
Nice.
We'll be like, how'd you get into music and acapella? Do you empty your swimming pools? End of podcast. But actually, go ahead. Like, what does Resonance do in a year? Go for it.
Yeah. I would say Resonance is unique in the fact that we have, or at least had, in the past few years, I guess, a very diverse or just different membership of like comprised of different majors. So most of our earlier members, especially, they were like STEM or engineering majors. So they all had like separate like heavy course load work to do, like that was completely unrelated to music or acapella, and then a whole nother Resonance commitment to the side, which were like on totally different ends. And that's actually changed within this past year. I would say it's kind of shifted a little more towards like the North Campus majors. I was like thinking about it earlier, and all four of our newbies are like not South Campus majors, which is like a first. And yeah, I think that is a first. But yeah, in general, our year comprises of like the first quarter is very hectic with all the auditions in the first few weeks. And then after that, you have to get to know the newbies and make sure that they're like comfortable with us and that like they vibe with us. We kind of do like, we usually have like a fall retreat to like help with that also. And I guess after or that, well, we start preparing for ICCAs pretty early on, but I would say towards the beginning, it's still more of like a leadership or like back end thing that we don't really like impose upon the entire group yet. But definitely winter quarter is the most hectic, stressful time. Oh my gosh. That's when we really, really have to grind, and sometimes there are tears, sometimes there are like, we get into like little quarrels where like people get a little annoyed with each other just because you're like spending so much time together and also trying to like work something out in particular. Like, of course, there's going to be like clashes of opinion sometimes and just like disagreements. So that's like a stressful time, but we definitely like to balance that just to make sure we don't like want to slit each other in the throats. We definitely like kick back and like hang out all the time just to like relieve some stress, whether that be from a cappella or from school or from both. So we like to hang out a lot, like outside. We get food, go to Sawtelle or go to Westwood, go get food, or we just hang out at someone's apartment and play Smash. That's like a huge thing that we do. Play video games, or play some drinking games, but we definitely find the time to like mix that in so it's not as much of a hard or stressful time to like get through the ICCA season, because within the also doing it with the quarter system and quarter schedule, it's so hard because I think ICCAs, they kind of do cater towards schools with the semester system, because I guess it like is more based or started in the East Coast. There are bigger groups in the East Coast, like they're all semester systems, so it's hard to work around with the quarter system. But yeah, definitely we have to work around that and try to coordinate everything and at the same time have fun.
Yeah, it's definitely important to have those fun social things in there, because otherwise it's just a constant grind and it's no different from classes, and people don't necessarily vibe well with that when they have classes grinding at the same time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, there are definitely hours and hours of rehearsal, and tensions do happen in any group, no matter how much you like each other.
Oh yeah, it's bound to happen.
Yeah, so to add on to something that like we do that I feel like is a little bit unique, and also to kind of tie back to the just like on the spot arrangements that from Pitch Perfect that you were mentioning, that like in empty swimming pools. One thing that I actually saw, I think it was the House Jacks do at the like their performance at Laugh like 2 years ago, was they took song requests from the audience and then they just like did on the spot arrangements for those songs, and I was like, that is the most insane thing I've seen ever. Like, this is literally just Pitch Perfect but real. And so I wanted to try to like bring that and like have Resonance be able to do that at like one of our concerts. And so I mean, that was honestly like something that we would have tried to do at our spring concert last year if we had had a spring concert. So like in preparation for that, we started doing just like improv circles and just like on the spot arrangements of songs where, so sometimes it would just be like a pure improv circle where like someone would just like make up just like a melody line or a bass line or something, and they just start, and everyone else would just like come on, like just add on whenever they just like hear something in their head and they just add on to it. And sometimes it would be like, oh, an on the spot arrangement where we'd pick a song and someone would be like, I'll sing the solo, and they just like start singing it, and then everyone just like jumps in and adds on to it. And sometimes worked really well and sometimes didn't work really well. But I felt like we definitely improved, and people, like, if anything, got more comfortable just like having original ideas of their own and like just singing in front of each other. And I felt like that have helped people open up and like get out of their comfort zones a little bit. And I think that if we could have gotten to the point where we actually were taking song requests at our spring concert, like that would just be such a cool thing to do. And I feel like I don't really see that ever. Like I watch a lot of a cappella, and the House Jacks that was the first time I'd ever seen it done. So
that's crazy cool. The only song I've ever done that to is The Lion Sleeps Tonight, but that one's like notoriously easy to figure out parts for.
Yeah. I mean, we did something similar at the Pitch Please callbacks, where all the people who were called back, the potential pitches, I don't know what you guys call them.
Prospective pitches.
The prospective pitches. We got grouped into small things, and I don't remember if we picked the song or what happened, but it was
I think you got to pick the song. It was a vocal layering exercise. I think that's what we call it, right? I don't actually know. I was not in charge, but we did that at my callback too for Pitch Please with I Want You Back, but it was like one big group thing.
Yeah, but it's such a fun experience, and sometimes it gets a little silly. Sometimes it falls off the rails, but you just gotta like run with it. And I think it's great for both inspiring creativity within the group and as a bonding piece, and then also just like learning to like work together to create something just like on the spot. You got to get that sick prov going.
Yeah. Well, the last thing we will talk about in this section, I think, is your original song. And you, in ICCA 2020 quarterfinals, you guys actually performed a song that had never been heard before outside of your rehearsals, which is extremely cool. So if you want to talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, so, I mean, it all started, I guess, Maggie, like, you can chime in a little bit, but, like, it started when we were planning the set. Like, I don't remember, it was, like, the end of spring quarter the year before, or, like, the beginning of summer.
I think it was during the summer.
Oh, it was over summer, yeah. So we were, like, trying to figure out what our set was going to be for the next year, and we kind of, like, had this arc set up where we knew we wanted it to be about mental health, and, like, we knew we wanted to be kind of, like, not like a redemption arc, but, like, a like going from, like, down and just, like, depressed in the gutter, and then, like, kind of moving in the direction of, like, self-acceptance. And so we had picked our I Don't Want to Be You Anymore as our opener, and we'd picked Still Feel by Half Alive as our closer. And we really needed, like, it was kind of like I Don't Want to Be You Anymore is, like, kind of started off perfectly for us, where it's, like, super just, like, self-deprecating and just, like, it hit all the themes that we wanted and, like, started off the tone in the right place. And then Still Feel, the thing that I really like about it is there's a lot of subtleties in the song and in the lyrics that show kind of, like, where you came from, where it's not just, like, a happy song where it's like, oh, everything's good right now, but it's kind of, it has elements to the song which show that you had to work to get there. And so I like that it showed this kind of history that you had, but there wasn't really any growth in the song itself. So we knew that the middle song needed to kind of do all of the legwork in terms of getting us from point A to point B.
The middle song needed to be that 45-degree angle slope, just like
Exactly. And so I remember just, like, for maybe, like, a month or something, we were just, like, looking for, just, like, I was going through playlists and just, like, listening to so many songs, trying to just find a song that would work, that could fit this, like, key role that we needed in our set. Like, this puzzle piece that we could just, like, place in. And there were songs that, like, were close, but nothing was perfect. And so eventually I was like, I'll just, like, try writing one and let's see what happens. And, like, we had enough time. It was only, like, midway through the summer that I started, so I felt like we had enough time where this was the first song I'd ever written. So I didn't want to just, like, go all in and be like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna write a song and that's what we're gonna do. Like, no backup plan. So, like, I felt like I started it early enough that even if it was a disaster and it, like, came out terribly and I couldn't figure out how to do it, that we still could have then chosen another song as our middle song. But it was kind of just like this, you know what, why not try it, you know, because, like, I felt like we weren't finding any song that perfectly fit, and so why not just design a song to fit, right? And I felt like for me, in terms of, like, arranging, I kind of done all of the different pieces of songwriting in, like, in different arrangements, just, like, never all at the same time. Like, I have, for most of the songs I arrange, I change the chord progression. For some of the songs I arrange, I change the tempo. For some of the songs I arrange, I change the melody. For, like, some of the songs I arrange, I change different, like, rhythmic feels and stuff. Like, put all those things together, I do them all at the same time, and you just wrote some of the songs I write original lyrics for. Like, I wrote original lyrics for In the Backs for Ocean. So, like, put all of those things together at the same time, and you wrote a song, right? So I felt like I could kind of approach it as just, like, an Uber arrangement where I'm just doing all the same things and, like, and doing them all at the same time, right? But yeah,
that was all a super fun and cool conversation. I feel like I learned so much about you guys that I didn't know before, even though our groups are kind of like friends. This next section will kind of get into what you guys have been doing during quarantine a little bit more than it usually does. So Tony, if you
Awesome.
want to
Well, everyone, welcome to Music Notes. This is the part of our show where we take a look back at a past performance of your group, and we talk a little bit about the preparation that went into it, how it felt to perform live, and what it feels like to look back at it now. Now, this one is a little special because it's not a performance that necessarily happened live, but it took place over quarantine. And we'll get in a little bit more on the specifics on that, but for now, in this episode, we are going to take a look at Resonance's quarantine cover of I Don't Wanna Be You Anymore by Billie Eilish, featuring soloist Gabby Schiffler, which they also performed earlier this year at the 2020 ICCA quarterfinals. Let's check it out.
If teardrops could be bottled, there'd be swimming pools filled by models. Told to tie dresses what makes you a score. If I love you was a promise, would you break it if you're honest? Tell the mirror what you know she said before. That I don't wanna be you Hands getting cold, losing feeling is getting old. Was I made from a broken heart? I can't shake that we made every mistake. Only you know the way that I relate. If teardrops could be bottled, there'd be swimming pools filled by models. Told to tie dresses what makes you a score. If teardrops could be bottled, there'd be swimming pools filled by models. Told to tie dresses what makes you a score. If I love you was a promise, would you break it if you're honest? Tell the mirror what you know she said before. That I don't wanna be you. I
All right. Well, something I always like to ask, and it might be a little different this time. So, I would like to ask your visceral reactions, first response to looking back on that now on the podcast. I know this wasn't necessarily a live performance, but it was you guys did do it at the ICCAs, and this is something that you guys put together over quarantine, which is very awesome, very cool. So yeah, first responses.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen that video since we released it, which was like, what, a month or 2 or 3 or 4?
Well, we released it for the gig that hired us to do it, like, back in spring quarter, but then we released it publicly on YouTube, like, maybe a month ago.
Yeah. Okay, just a month ago. Honestly, I think a lot, like, all of us have experienced this just during quarantine, just kind of like time warping. Like suddenly, like time feels like it goes by really slowly, but then another day, like it's like, oh my God, the day's already gone. Or like, oh my God, it's already like almost September. Like, how is that happening? And I think watching that, it literally like that also felt like, oh wow, I did this like at home during quarantine, but it like feels so long ago, or it also feels like such a different time ago. It's like, yeah, I think it's just definitely just like being at home and like in quarantine where like time just doesn't feel real anymore. So looking back on that, it was like, did I even do that? Like,
That's so
wow.
relatable.
Yeah.
It's also asking yourself how you like got up the energy to do something like that too. Like, how was I able to perform like that?
I know.
Other days it's like, check the email. Nope, good. Eat food, go bed. And other days you make an acappella video.
Yeah. So what went into that? Like making that video? Like, did you have to each get a nice microphone? Were some people using better mics than others? Did you record everything separately and then like listen to the soloist and the beatbox? Like, what was your process with all that?
Yeah.
And there's video editing too,
Yeah,
like
so-
on top of that.
Yeah, I can talk a bit about that. It was actually really fast. So to give like a bit of backstory, there is this event on campus every year called the Healthy Campus Initiative, or HCI, and generally they put on like a benefit like concert or like event every year, and we performed at it for the past few years. And this year it's always in spring, so this year, like obviously we couldn't have a live performance, but they decided to have it anyway, since like usually it's promoting health and wellness, and they felt like this year that was almost like more pertinent than ever, and so they decided to have it virtual. And so they asked us to record this cover of I Don't Want to Be You Anymore to play as a substitute for us performing live. And the whole timeline was like kind of crazy, because I mean obviously it's like a UCLA organization that's hiring us to do something, and they're not completely aware of how long realistically it takes, but essentially we had like a week to put the whole thing together. Luckily though, like this was one of our competition songs. Yeah. Like, I mean, it was lucky though that like this is one of our competition songs, so like everyone knew it like the back of their hand. There was no kind of like ironing out things or like people learning parts or anything that we had to worry about. So pretty much like I just sent out the message to everyone being like, all right, hey, just record your part along. So play this reference track in your ears and record along to it, and film yourself while you're recording it. For one thing that was weird with the reference track was that intro that you heard, where it starts with just Gabby and then the girls come in, but still the guys haven't come in, and there's no percussion, nothing, is very like free. It's more rubato. It's not really at tempo, and so that was really difficult for us to figure out like the best way to record that so that everyone would be in sync, since usually we're just kind of going off of each other. And so what I actually did was I spliced together a video of us doing it live, where I used that for the intro, and then I cut to a MIDI that was on a grid after that. So when I just like spliced it like right at the perfect time, like right when the tempo actually starts. And so when they were actually recording, they were recording to just like a iPhone recording that we had of us doing it previously for that intro, and then it switched to just like MIDI playback for the rest of the song.
Got it. That makes sense. It's hard to do rubato stuff with a Metro click track.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And then so that was kind of like a hurdle we had to get over. But then everyone kind of had just like a different setup and different equipment that they were recording with. Some people had nice mics, but pretty much what I said was like, if you wanted to record your audio and your video separately, you could, but most people I think just recorded them at the same time, because most people just had like Apple earbuds and they're just recording like on their computer, and they're just playing the audio in their headphones and recording with their just like Apple headset. And generally then it was just like up to me to then try to just like make everyone's audio sound as good as possible and like put it all together in a way that like would sound good. And it was definitely a challenge, and I definitely felt like the quality suffered a bit because of that. And I think there are some things that I would maybe do differently in terms of the production process to try to clean it up a little bit better, but like all in all, I was pretty happy with it, how it turned out, especially given the time frame.
Yeah, I feel like it's impossible to tell too that people are using like substandard mics at all. Like it sounds professional, which is really awesome.
Yeah. I have a personal inquiry. What DAW or digital audio workstation did you use to compile all of those, the audio separate and all the audio?
Yeah, I use Pro Tools.
Pro Tools?
So,
Cool.
I use Pro Tools because it's the industry standard, and I do a lot of things like semi-professionally in the acapella world, where I have to work with other people on projects and send files back and forth, and everyone in the industry uses Pro Tools, and so it kind of required that's the DAW that I have to use. Yeah, so in terms of the video editing, though, that was kind of interesting because I did the video editing also, but I'd never done any video editing before.
Well, it looks good for that. Like,
thank you.
I mean, it looks good in general. It looks like you knew what you were doing, so that's good.
Yeah, I didn't at all. So
Yeah, no.
well, so I put the whole thing. So I did all the audio and video in like the span of 20 hours. Like literally, I just like didn't sleep. Because I wanted to give people as long as possible to send it to me, and so then I just like did it like the day before it was due, and I just like I had everyone send it to me like the night before I was gonna do it, and then I just spent like 20 hours straight doing all the audio and all the video, and the video was like kind of the biggest pain ever because I thought it was gonna be so much easier than it was. I've heard now that like everyone uses Premiere to edit stuff like that, but I had Final Cut, and Final Cut was like the biggest headache, and I feel like from what people tell me, Premiere would have been a lot better and easier to use for that type of video.
It sucks that Final Cut, you can get deals to get like Final Cut and Logic, but like Premiere is like the standard for video editing, and Logic is the standard for sound editing.
And with quarantine, it's been kind of cool because there have been just like discounts, or at least
100-day free trials.
100-day free trials, just enough for you to just poke around and then eventually figure it out. But that's crazy that like that was a week turnaround for you guys working with some new software. And I from what you guys created, it was phenomenal. Like the video, the audio quality, and how everybody kind of still gelled with one another, even though everybody was separate and working off of MIDI. I know it can be a struggle sometimes, especially with things like vowels and dynamics, to kind of get those all matched up, especially being so far away. But what you guys created was like it was beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it was really important, the fact that like it was one of our competition songs that we drilled over and over and over again. Like we perfected all of the vowels, all the dynamics, everything. Like we worked so much on it together that like by the time then we had to record it, there wasn't really any mismatch in terms of that. I'm not looking forward to when we have to learn songs in quarantine and then try to put them together. Like I feel like there's going to be a lot of issues that then arise with that we're very fortunate with this one to have had that experience prior to it.
For sure.
Yeah. Maggie, could you talk about maybe your side of it, from hearing about what you guys were doing to you yourself being a part of the recording process, and then how you felt the first time seeing it up on the YouTubes?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely like touching up on what Brandon just said. Like, yeah, this specific song out of I think our set of 3 for the ICCA songs, we definitely worked on this one the most. Like the girls in the intro, we literally like had like sessions during rehearsals or during sectionals, like literally just grinding and like nitpicking everything at the very beginning, because that's the first song on the set. Like when you're thinking about ICCA's in a normal setting, like the first song has to like get these judges' attention, or otherwise it's their first impression. Otherwise, if it's not like, if it's just mid, then they'll be like, okay, whatever, you know, this is just another group. So definitely because we like shelled out that beginning so quick or so much during actual rehearsals, when it came to recording like separately, we had some of that still like instinctively like remembered. Even if we weren't singing with everyone, it definitely like helped to record that part, especially in the beginning. But yeah, that whole video, it did come to like almost like as a surprise. Like we weren't really expecting it, because I think when the HCI, that event thing, first invited us to do it, even after quarantine, we were like, how is that going to work? Like, are we going to perform it live on Zoom or like anything? And for the longest time, we weren't given like a solid like plan or update with that. So some of us, I think, even like myself, I was like, maybe it's not even happening. And then at the very end, it was like a week before, I was like, okay, so we're going to record it. And I was like, oh my God, okay. So then we put that all together. And it definitely felt very different, just because I think it was the first time we were all doing this type of thing, different outlet, different like setup and everything. It definitely felt weird when I was just recording by myself and I couldn't hear like, or you could hear the midis, but it just didn't feel the same. Like, it doesn't feel like you're really singing with anyone, and it's like, is my part even right? Like, am I doing okay? Am I lined up? Like, is this going to work? Pretty much. And seeing it as a final product, it was like satisfying to see like how it all was put together and like it worked out in like the video, and seeing all of our like little mini square screens on the on the screen all together, and then hearing it was definitely like, oh wow, like this could be a new reality at this point.
Absolutely, what you're saying is that like, yeah, this might become a new normal, at least for a while, and it takes some time to get used to that kind of concept and to find your homeostasis, if you can call it that, with singing to a camera onto a microphone and then hearing it all come together. If in the case of this is being kind of the new normal, at least for a little while, what will you guys be taking from this experience and changing or improving upon going into, if you guys decided to do another? Probably you would give yourself more than 1 week, I would presume.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, more than 1 week would be nice, probably.
But yeah, what would you guys take from this experience? What were kind of like the struggles, and what did you guys learn? And how are you going to kind of like bring those to the next thing if you decide to do another thing?
Yeah, I feel like everything that we did was relatively good. Just like the main issue that I had with the production side was the difference in quality between people's submissions. And so I think if we had more time and like going into next year when we'll probably be doing more projects like this, one thing I might do is try to work one-on-one with each person and try to just like help them figure out the optimal setup for them to try to get the best recording that they can get with whatever they have available to them. And I think doing that might help, because there were some people that recorded in like not the best spaces with not the best mics, where like there was lots of room noise, lots of just like background static and just like other stuff that like I think probably could have been avoided with just like slightly better setting, or maybe like I don't know, like I think that definitely that severe kind of difference in quality that I was getting in terms of different people's audio signals, and also honestly video signals, like there are people, I mean, like Yale recorded like in his car and it's like super dark, and then like Justin's recording is like against a nice white wall and it's like so pristine. And like I'm not saying that like Justin's is better than Yale's.
Yeah, we said to do a white wall.
To...
We were like, go behind a white wall.
Yeah, but like trying to like just like the fact that Justin's video was so good, like almost made it hard to then put in the same video as someone else's video, like Yale's, was so not, right? And so I'm just calling out Yale like hardcore right now, but like there are kind of things there in both the audio and the video side where it's less a problem of like it being good or bad and more a problem of the discrepancy between
the juxtaposition for the video like makes an okay video look bad if you have like a person who has like a freaking like green screen or something. But then there's also, like, with audio,
exactly, yeah.
I think it's a slightly different issue. It's not juxtaposition as much as it probably is blending. And I guess, like, having a bad audio and a group of good audio will make all of them sound a little bit worse.
Yeah, well, microphones and like, they'll, like, have certain frequencies that they like a little bit better, or depending on the quality of them. I like technology. I like audio technology a little bit. But, yeah, they have a particular ranges in which they kind of, like, function the best in. And so a lot of things, if they're on the cheaper side, they'll come out a little bit more tinny. And so what you want to do is you end up boosting more of those lower frequencies to try to like even it out. And then on things that kind of already kind of have that naturally warmer tone, then you might want to brighten it up depending upon the scenario or whatever. But yeah, there's that challenge always. But lucky for us, like has evolved to the point where we are carrying around iPhones with cameras that are even better than like some low-level DSLRs. Like I have a TI3 or something. I don't know what camera it is, but like honestly, I can shoot probably more like outside of like having the ability to like manually like change things on the camera. The iPhone has so much of a power, and so I feel that we are kind of, as long as we are able to control what we can control, we are already given the tools that we need in order to create something beautiful. And you guys did. And I think that's a testament and a hope for a cappella groups who moving on to this quarantine kind of life, the semi-charmed kind of life.
So thank you guys for sharing your experience with that. I know that if any a cappella groups are listening, it'll be maybe helpful to them if they have no idea where to start with this whole process. It is possible. You can do it. You kind of have to this year, so that's kind of what's happening. And with that, Tony, should we get into the advertisement?
All right, well, we have a game for you all to play, but before we can get into that, we would like to thank our sponsors. Today's episode is brought to you by masks, no longer just for superheroes.
And by Morse code. Beep, 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 beep.
Jessica, language.
Sorry, Tony.
It's okay. I love you.
I love you too, Tony.
So, the game that we have for you guys to play is one bringing it back all the way from episode 1. Please don't go listen to episode 1.
We implore you not to listen to episode 1 unless you skip to only the parts where Aarin is talking.
Yes. You can only listen to Aarin. Speaking of which, Aarin, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Aarin. I'm the music director of Pitch Please, and I'm happy to be here. Thanks for bringing me in.
We're happy you're
Aarin
here.
is also the Human Collegiate Acapella Codex. And we have a game for you all called Beat Aarin. Very similar to the game show that existed for a little bit and then I dropped off the face of the earth, Beat Shazam. We're going to play a couple different collegiate a cappella music, and maybe some others, you'll see. And the challenge we implore you to do is try to guess as many as you can before Aarin can get to it.
When you hear the song, you have to quickly name the artist, by which we mean the a cappella group, not the OPE, the a cappella group, and the song title of that song, of the collegiate a cappella cover. And then you have to do that before Aarin, because then you get the point. But if you don't do it before Aarin, then you have to sing one of Aarin's favorite songs. Yeah. The goal is for you two together to rack up as many points as you can and see if you can, quote-unquote, beat Aarin.
It's Resonance's finest versus the goddess herself, Aarin.
This is gonna be embarrassing.
Okay, Brandon, you're like really knowledgeable too. If there's anyone that I've met my match for.
All right, Jessica has loaded up the first song. Ooh, that goes to Brandon. Brandon, what is it?
Is Rising on the Wall?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
That was literally like 0.1 second, I swear.
This is gonna be so much more. No offense to Andrew Sonico Eugenio. We love him. He's the beatboxer extraordinaire, but this is gonna be so much more interesting than that was. Okay. Also, I have a better
Aarin,
mic
how
this
you,
time.
Aarin, how you feeling? I gotta know.
I was expecting this. I'm just.
All right. This
all I
next
gotta
one
say.
is gonna be. You'll see. So currently, y'all have a point.
One
Aarin, we're
point
not
to the
keeping track
res.
of your points. We're imagining you're like Shazam.
Okay.
You just do your best, and they're trying to get as many points against you as possible.
Alrighty.
Okay, here we go. The next one is hopefully not an ad.
I thought I knew. I was like,
I heard the pitch and I was like, wait.
I was like, is that a G?
It is a G. It is a G. I was like,
Yeah.
that's a G. Huh?
I was like, wait,
Yeah.
wait. Oh my god.
Wait, so
Yeah, I was
Maggie,
like,
do you
that
have
sounds
it?
like my pitch pipe.
Maggie, do you have the answer?
Yes, it's Bad Romance by Resonance.
There you go.
By us.
Perfect. That is 2 points. Aarin, we promise they're not all
was-
resonance songs.
I mean,
I was about to clap just after the pitch because I was like, that sounds like my pitch part.
But then I was like,
is that a G?
was that a video then, not like the Spotify or like?
No, yeah, these are all videos.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Because
no wonder.
Spotify has like the drum thing or like the beatbox thing.
Yeah. I was like, why is there a pitch being played?
All right, are you guys ready? You have 2 points. Number 3 is a coming. Here we go.
Oh.
Oh.
So, wait. Be harm gravity.
Yes.
De-harm gravity. That's true. 3
yeah.
points for Rez. This
Yeah.
is insane.
This is insane. This is the first. This is real, man.
He's just
Alright.
faster.
I recorded the album,
I
so.
know them. I'm just slow.
Trust your instincts, Aarin. Trust those acapella instincts. Aca-stinks?
The episode where we return to Pitch Please, we might have to make a beat Brandon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we may have to.
I honestly.
This is like the amount of response from all 3 of you guys is like very quick, so it's kind of cool. Here's the next one. Hopefully I click on the right link.
I
I don't know it.
We threw you for a curveball. Let's see if you guys can get it.
don't have to be
I have not heard this
I don't know
before.
it. Yeah.
Okay, well then the first person to get the name of the song gets it. It doesn't have to be the group.
I'm gonna show you what it's all about. Don't have to be rich to be my girl. You don't have to be cool to move on. Ain't no particular sign to make it better. Just want your extra time and your kiss.
Brandon, you clapped?
Yeah, it's called Kiss.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does anyone have a guess of what group that is?
Is it
Is
an
it a-
all-male group?
Yes.
It is a collegiate group, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it the Originals?
No.
No.
Okay.
Well, I think that
I
I'm
think
going to
it's
have
time
to
to
give a
put
half point. Oh, what were you going to say, Tony?
I was going to say, in that case, you guys might want to check out episode 7 of Tiger on the Block, where we interviewed the Pensions from University of Pennsylvania.
That was my second guess. not that group, but like a group from that school.
Well, yes, because they're pretty cool. Check them out. But that means a half point goes to Resonance because you got half of the answer, which is the name of the song.
I think
right.
on a half a point, they should still have to sing a song because I want to hear.
I
you
think
talk.
they might have
But Aarin
to.
didn't get it. What?
But you've only got half of it, which means you have to sing one of Aarin's favorite songs.
You sing half of my favorite
Yeah.
Sing every other word of one of Aarin's
Yeah. Aarin, do you want to pick out of the song list, or do you want me to?
All right. Okay, let's go with. Do you guys know Sunflower, Post Malone from Into
no.
the Spider-Verse?
You
From
don't,
Into the
Brandon?
Spider?
I don't know it.
Oh,
Maggie.
All right,
goodness.
Maggie,
Take it
you'll be the
away.
saving grace.
I do, but like it's like, oh wait, I thought we had to do this together.
What? We're not gonna sing at the same time. It's Zoom. It's not gonna work.
He'll have to take the next one. How about that?
Yeah.
If there's another, he'll have to do it.
Okay, wait, I still have to look up the lyrics.
You could
I
also
know when
sing
he
it the way
says
Miles Morales does,
Sunflower.
which is check.
Oh, I've definitely heard that before.
Have you heard of it because Acapop kids did it? Because they did do it.
Oh my god, they did?
I definitely haven't listened to all the Acapop Kids stuff, so I don't
Okay.
Hey, Jess, when are we gonna get Acapop Kids on this podcast?
As soon as I figure out things.
Good answer.
Nice.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm doing my darndest here. Whenever you are ready.
Now I'm reading the lyrics. I've never looked at them. I don't even know if I know how this song goes anymore.
If you want, you can do it without lyrics.
Yeah, Miles Morales style.
Yeah. There you go.
We'll take it.
We'll take it. That's good enough for jazz. Let's move on to the next song.
If it's
Is
good
everyone
enough for
ready?
jazz, it's good enough for Tiger on the Block.
Is everybody ready? Here we go. Oh, here we go. I just hit my laptop. Here we go. For real this time.
I don't know this.
I think I've heard it, but like only once.
On a condition, we on our way to the top. We got the world at our fingers. We make the panty drop.
Oh!
And
Is that On Top of the World?
the song?
Bye. That is the song.
Yeah.
Can you guess the group?
Aarin, can you
Is it
guess the group?
Nomadic?
It is not Nomadic.
Not
Is
Nomadic.
that
Aarin,
the only
can
group that I
you,
know that does that song?
can you guess the group, Aarin?
No, I don't think I can.
Are you sure?
What do you mean, are you sure? What are you doing?
Because we happen to share a name with this group.
Oh my god. Is it Pitch Please from like
Northeastern. Yep, it's Pitch Please Northeastern.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Shout out to Pitch Please Northeastern. We would love to have you on the podcast.
Yeah, if you're listening to this for, whatever reason,
Somehow, if you got here. All right.
slide into our DMs.
Well, I guess it's my turn to give Brandon Tai a half song.
Yes.
How about you give us a little bit of Backstreet Boys, I Want It That Way? You can't tell me you don't.
I want it that way. Tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why ain't nothing but a mistake.
Now number 5.
Oh my gosh.
Say, I want it that way.
Complete with a
He's
Brooklyn
the one who
Nine-Nine
killed my
reference.
brother.
That one's the one that killed
Now
my brother.
number 5.
Oh, it's so good. Well, there you go. You guys have almost all of them. Jesus, there are 3 more.
And
Let's
I've
do
gotten
this.
0 of them. Let's go.
Aarin, I believe in you. Resonance
This is
people, I
hard.
believe in you too.
This is hard.
Here we go. Here's the next one. It's coming. It's a coming. And it's coming. Hopefully. As soon as
There it goes.
Is it coming? Is it a coming? Hello? Hold on.
Whoop.
Uh, eh. I saw a ring
Aarin
first.
had that one.
Yeah. What is it?
Oh god, wait. I know it's Blue Haze, but like
Who's singing it?
now I'm like, wait, is it the Scats version or the Soundwave version?
There are 2. You got 2. There's a 50-50 shot.
Oh no! I didn't hear long enough.
Guess. It's 50-50.
Okay, so I'm gonna guess Scats because I feel like in the Soundwave version it's just Mario singing that line.
Aarin, you got it. You did it.
Oh my god, okay, cool. Oh,
All right, which means you guys have to sing another of
Let me see
Aarin's
if I-
favorite songs.
Yeah,
I
let me see
earned
if I
it
can
this
find
time.
I know,
Maggie,
I'm proud
do
of
you know one of the... Maggie probably knows either the Ariana Grande one or the Lizzo one, I'm guessing.
All right, well, Aarin won this one fair and square, and so we would like to hear you sing a bit of Ariana Grande's Break Up With Your Girlfriend, because I'm bored. But yes.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna look up the lyrics again. I realized I do not know many lyrics word for word. Yes, that's how it goes. Okay, I was like blanking out. Okay, 1, 2. Break up with your girlfriend. Yeah, 'cause I'm bored. You can hit it in the morning. Yeah, like it's yours. I know it ain't right, but I don't care. Yeah. Break up with your girlfriend. Yeah, 'cause I'm bored.
Woo!
That was wonderful. Chills. All right. The next song is about to be clicked on. I realize I shouldn't say the name of the song. All right, here we go.
Give it to us.
I'm just gonna say it and then defeat the entire purpose. All right, here we go. Hasn't started yet. Oh, Aarin's got it. What is it?
Shoot. It's is the song "Show Me How You Burlesque"? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Voices in Your Head.
Yes. Hot damn!
There you go.
She's redeeming herself.
She is. She's
She's
coming
getting
back.
the second half. She just had to get used to the vibe. All right, which
Brandon
means we
Tai.
have another Brandon Tai. You have to sing a song, one of Aarin's favorite songs.
And this
gosh.
one we shall go with "Photograph" by Ed Sheeran.
Let me photograph you in this light. Oh wait, that's not. That's Adele. How's Photograph by Adele?
I mean, I think Aarin
that
also
was-
likes
oh,
that
wait,
song.
that's Adele.
So
Go ahead.
that's
yeah.
not Ed Sheeran. That's Adele.
Go for it. Do it.
You
do
have
it.
our-
Oh, yeah, we did that my freshman year because we did an Adele medley at Spring Sing, and we always used to call that Photograph, and that's why like you said Photograph, and that just came into my head. But it's not. That's
I mean, you can
that's
you
when
can sing that one.
when you were young, or when we were young.
Yeah, I think so.
You could do "When We Were Young."
Let me photograph you in this light, in case it is the last time that we might be the last time that we were before we realized we were scared of getting old and it was reckless. That's just like a movie. That's like a song when we were young.
Nice. It's so hard when you're an acapella and you weren't the one singing the melody to like actually know the words, especially if you're singing like high soprano or low bass.
Yeah.
There's like no parallel like word harmony happening. It's just like or all right. So
That was "Photograph" by Adele.
my favorite is still Nickelback. What can I say? I have very good taste.
Oh my God.
Look at this
My favorite is Graph by Nickelback.
I mean, Graph and Photograph are two very. I feel like one really just like inspired the other in
Yeah,
a way,
Definitely.
like harmonically.
Right.
Look at this giraffe.
Look at this giraffe. I told people on another episode of this podcast that I one time got sucked into this weird hole of YouTube looking at like a Vine compilation that was just people holding up different things and singing different words that rhyme with graph.
Oh my God.
It was a great time. But that brings us to our last Beat Aarin challenge.
And might I say, this is the hardest one we could find.
Oh, yes.
good.
Definitely.
no.
I need you to dig deep down and like really remember, because it's going to be really old. But
It's going to be a real hashtag doozy. All right, here we go.
Buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, mail it, break
Okay, Brandon.
Pentatonic Staff Punk Medley.
Yes, it is. Well, that concludes our game of Beat Aarin. You guys indeed got way more points than anyone in the history of this game has ever gotten against Aarin.
and by that we
So-
mean Andrew.
By that we mean Andrew. Sorry, Andrew. We love you. You're great at beatboxing. All right.
Well, thank you so much.
You're also
for
great at other things, Andrew, by the way. Just Aarin happens to know more collegiate acapella. Don't take it personally. All right.
Any final words?
Well, good job, you guys. You did really well. I've been properly challenged.
I feel like this would be really fun if we could just keep going forever. Like, we don't have the time to do that, but if we did have time, just to see, like, how many a cappella songs you guys know, because this is insane.
Oh, definitely Brandon. He'll know more.
Well, like, not even to, like, see who knows more, but just to go on and see how many, like, random a cappella groups you guys have just heard and know.
Oh,
for
Just
some
the fact
reason.
that we can play 3 seconds and any of you can just be like, oh, this arrangement, this ICCA set, this particular song in that ICCA set, and this year. And
It's crazy.
you're like, oh, I know it because at the beginning it goes boom, 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 and you're like, oh, fucking easy.
I was like, is that a G on the pitch pipe? Because we used that for one song in 2018, so I know what song it is now. Crazy, awesome, wonderful. This is why we love a cappella people. With that being said, I think that is the end of our game. So
Bye,
thank you so much,
Aarin.
Aarin.
Bye-bye. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so
This
much
was
for
a lot of
coming.
fun.
We love seeing your beautiful face.
All right, well, we are coming up to the end of the podcast. It has been so phenomenal to have both of you here on it, but we would like to give you this next segment to, this is a small space, a chunk of window that is all for you. You can do whatever you want with it. We hope that you use this space. We kind of give it in hopes that you guys will shout out what your group might have coming up. This is kind of a space for you to tell us about all the social media, how people can follow you, how people can support you and see what you're working on next. You can also feel free to talk about your own personal projects, your own personal brands. Shout out any members in the group that you just want to say hi to. This space is yours and yours alone. Take the throne and promote yourself.
You can find us at on Spotify. Just search up Resonance, and that will probably pop up. We have most of our recent songs, minus this past school year, up there so far. You can also find us on YouTube at UCLA Resonance. We have some of our old sets on there, and our last set from the 2020 school year will probably be up there in the future sometime. TBD date specifically, but it will be up there at some point. And you can also follow us on Instagram at UCLA Resonance. We have some stuff going on there too. And as for individual members, I would like to shout out at Mad's Tea Party on TikTok and Instagram. He is one of our newer members, and he is popping off on TikTok and Instagram. He's been writing a lot of music, and he's gonna go very far. I have faith in him, so please check him out if you guys have the time. And Brandon, do you want to go into some of our audition details if you have any?
Yeah, so also check us out on Facebook. Probably just search UCLA Resonance and you'll find us. For auditions, definitely, like, if you're interested in auditioning and you're a UCLA student, definitely check out our different social medias and we'll be sending out information about it there. But auditions, we will be having fall auditions, and they will be some sort of virtual audition. We're thinking of a video submission where generally you just submit a video of you singing scales and singing a short solo of your choice, which is pretty much how all auditions are run. Just they're usually in person. Now it's going to be a video. And yeah, if you make it past the audition stage, then we'll send you a really in-depth email about callbacks. But that's pretty much how it's going to go. I think it'll be pretty easy to make the transition to virtual, since nothing that we do at auditions are like super crazy. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
I will link all of your guys' stuff below if you want to go to their Spotify, their YouTube, that one dude's TikTok. I got it. It's down below. Just click the links, or they'll be there at whatever you call it, their username. That's the word. It'll all be there. Check it out. They're really good. We promise. Also, you just heard them. You know. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for being on the show today.
Yeah, thank you.
We would also like to thank our historian, Talia About It, for telling us about it, even when we didn't ask.
Our on-site guitarist, Freddie Strumwell, for filling the air with the sultry sounds of his musical instrument on this podcast about a cappella singing.
And of course, our listeners, thank you for tuning in.
Join us again next week when our guest will be Jukebox from UCLA.
This has been Tiger on the Block. Remember to treat those vocal cords right.
Try out that riff you've always wanted to try.
And chug a ton of honey.
Never felt so